Welcome, everybody, to the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners. The meeting is now called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Prior to our opening prayer, I just want to say on this Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, I'd ask that we honor the 2,403 patriots who perished with a moment of silence prior to our prayer today. It is appropriate that we commemorate the valor of all those who defended our nation and give thanks to the greatest generation who heroically guided us through World War II. So if we can have a moment of silence before we pray.
No, I mean, I didn't know we'd have
Mr. Bertino, I think you're.
Okay. Opening prayer. Almighty God, we pray for the strength and courage to work towards a nation and a world of peace and understanding. Grant that our decisions be wise, our principles sound, and our performance in office faithful. Amen.
Amen. We stand and face the flag. Attention, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Here.
Bertino.
Here.
Corsi.
Present.
Days.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
Risley.
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from October 19th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the October 19, 2021 minutes as presented.
Motion. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. We'll call the roll.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Are we okay with Commissioner Parker? What's our rules?
On the minutes, so he could technically recuse himself because he wasn't present, but first of all, it just passed regardless. So we can talk about that procedure after this meeting. I think it's fine and harmless for the moment. We can move on.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I think if they read the minutes, they can, but it's something that we just have not made a policy of doing.
Yeah, we can address it after the meeting. I think it's fine for now.
Okay,
I've read the
thank
minutes.
you.
If you're okay with that, man.
Either way.
Oh, I'm absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, just if anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium and state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during the public comments. At that time, you just type yes in the question and answer box, you will be raised. And at that time, again, please state your name and the town that you reside. Okay, we have with us today Rick Dovey, President of the Atlantic County Utilities Authority, who will present the 2022 budget to the board. Rick, prior to your presentation, on behalf of the entire board, we would like to thank you, your staff, and each of your employees of the ACOA who continue to serve Atlantic County residents during the pandemic and continue to do so now. So please accept our sincere thanks to you and your staff.
You're welcome, and I will make sure that I pass it on to the people that most deserve it. Some of them are still out working right now. Good afternoon. I had sent over previously, I'm not sure how organized it was a couple days ago, so we put together a fresh package. So I'll just go over quickly the solid waste and wastewater proposed budgets and rates for the coming year. I'm not going to go through everything you have, but if you have it, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to do it. With me this afternoon, with me is Brian Lefke, Vice President of Solid Waste and Board Secretary, Linda Bazemore, Vice President of Administration and Finance, and Joe Pantalone, Vice President of Wastewater. We're about a third of the way through our meetings with all the municipalities in Atlantic County, going over these rates face to face with each member municipality. So far, it's going well. So I'll start with solid waste. Our proposed budget for the coming year is summarized on this first page. And the long and short of it is, this coming year, we have to put more capital into our landfill, continuing its expansion, upgrade of its odor and leachate systems and equipment there. So you'll see that mostly the biggest increase is in the capital side. This year has been very challenging in all parts of the authority, particularly in solid waste, because of COVID and the severe staff shortages that we're facing and continue to face. We have expressed to all the municipalities who are our clients, our customers, I should say, our appreciation for their understanding and patience and their outrage at late pickups and sometimes missed stops. We're running basically with 25% of our staff down on a daily basis. We prioritize trash collection first, recycling residentially second, third, commercial recycling collection, last is yard waste. So of the last few weeks, obviously the peak yard waste season, there have been lots of complaints, rightfully so. We work from dark to dark. It's not safe to work. It's the shortest time of the year. It's the most leaves and yard waste time of the year. When you're not staffed fully, just can't get done. We have promised all the towns that we will be back to get it, sometimes a week late, sometimes a couple days late, sometimes a day late. So each town, we're working out our arrangements with them, however they might want to work it out. So that's pretty much where we are. We've done everything we can to recruit. It's been particularly difficult in the last 10 months. We've raised starting salaries for both laborers and drivers twice in the 18 months of the pandemic. We can't match salaries that are being offered in the private sector. $28 an hour from Republic, plus benefits. I'm sorry, bonuses, not benefits. Because all of our employees have benefits. Benefits are worth $20 an hour. For many people, that doesn't seem to matter. So in my 30 years of being at the ACUA, we've collected trash and recycling and yard waste and never had trouble recruiting people. This is unprecedented. We have another job fair tomorrow. We have one about every 2 weeks, but there's, people can apply any day. Just not. It's so bad that we hire people that we fire, particularly because of the CDL shortage. That's a nationwide issue of commercial driver license shortage in all industries, all businesses. In the solid waste business, both public sector and private CDL drivers are at the pinch point. You can't send a truck out unless somebody has a CDL. They can't drive a truck. It's not safe. That is the real pinch point, but even laborers are difficult, near impossible. So we will continue to do that. It continues to get very challenging. In the coming year, we're proposing a 5% rate increase on our tipping fees. Our tipping fees still will be the lowest municipal tipping fees in the state. Again, I mentioned the capital expenses of continuing to expand the landfill and the equipment necessary to run it are the major contributors. Last year, we did not buy any trash trucks, recycling trucks. because of the pandemic. This year, we're going to return to, we have to start renewing our trucks. We have about 65 collection vehicles in the authority, so you have to replace them every year. That's the solid waste story. On the wastewater, the smaller budget only affects 14 of the towns in Atlantic County. This is a service agreement, as most of you know. It's a contract between basically the 14 towns in the ACWA. The cover sheet with the yellow line shows the projected flows in budget for this year. And on the far left is the allocation that was budgeted for this year and by the municipality. And in the case of Atlantic City, it's the Atlantic City Sewage Company, a private entity. And also Egg Harbor Township is the MUA, it's not the township itself. In Hamilton Township, it's also the MUA. All the others are municipal signatories to the service agreement. Every year, based on actual flows, there is a reallocation at the end of the year, or true up, and the far right represents what we believe will be the true up after the end of December. So it's a projection at this point. This is what we go over with the towns. The most significant thing to note here is the flows from the Atlantic City Sewage Company are the lowest since gaming. Since gaming. Historical flow low. The sewage company knows that. They know it because they get their billing from the MUA, where the water usage is reported and billed. The main thought on why this is happening is there's just not people in the city during the day or at night like there was just 2 or 3 years ago. So just think, 1/3 of the employees in the casino, people working in county or state office buildings, not working there, working from home for a good part of this year. Stores not open, restaurants not open full schedules. There just isn't the people using toilets and sinks and so forth. So it's never been that bad. This is a proportional arrangement. So when Atlantic City's flows are down significantly, and you can see they are, they went from being projected to be 34% of the rate base to below 30%. It gets squeezed to the other remaining municipalities. All the towns really understand this, and that's that. So that's here. We're also projecting or asking for a 5% rate increase. If you flip that page, that is the cost for the next year, and that's what towns use to budget going forward for the MUA, so the sewage company. The third page is the rate history. You can see that we've had very little rates increases over the last 10 or 15 years. And again, the municipalities are aware of that. Next page is the summary of the wastewater budget. There isn't really significant changes here, except in a couple places. Some of our health benefit costs for retirees have gone up significantly. And we also have commodity costs like chemicals and so forth going up dramatically. But overall, expenses are up to just over 2%. Operating expenses, debt service is down a little bit. Next year, it'll be up about the same as it was last year. We just finished a number of large capital projects where we're finishing them up. So the debt service for those will come online next year and in the years forward. So total expenses are just going up 1.29%. So it's on the revenue side that we see some down. Interest earnings are down because of investments just don't pay the same. Some of ours matured last year, and so they won't. They're only basically at market rates. Outside septic scum and sludge, which is primarily outside sludge, is going to remain about the same, a little less. Miscellaneous is outside services. We do shared services for the county lab, municipal lab services, pump station maintenance for different entities, and that's projected to be a little bit lower because last year we anticipated doing stormwater pump station maintenance for Atlantic City government at their Baltic Avenue pump station. That has not come online yet, and we don't anticipate that this coming year, so that's not in the revenue. And then unrestricted net assets, one thing you'll note in our rates, if you go back to the rate history, last year we lowered our charge to 14 towns by $1.5 million. We have to take from our reserves to add to our operating budget to help make up for that. That represents how we've seen how sewer flows have gone down over the last 5 or 6 years, and we've reduced our charge to the municipality. And so one final chart, a longer page with lots of numbers. The most important part is the middle chart. And that shows you what the sewage towns have paid us every year, true up costs since 2006. And you can see that many of the towns have paid us more in the past for a whole host of reasons. One being the one I just talked about, where we've lowered our charge twice in the last 5 years. And also, so the 5% rate increase is not really making a big difference to most of the towns. They've basically been budgeting at their higher flow and charge rate from the past. They're utilities. That's how they operate. So, and that's it. Unless you have any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr.
Yeah.
Doty?
Rick, where do we stand now? And I've asked you this question over the many years we've known each other. Where do we stand now with the landfill, and as far as the length and as far as what we can do to make it last longer?
Well, we're doing everything possible that our permit permits us to do from DEP now, and we will be for the next 5 years. So we have, if everything stayed the same, we have 6.5 years of capacity. I've talked to you before that our longer range plan would be hopefully a new technology. We still monitor. In fact, in the new year, we'll go out for another RFP. That'll be the 3rd time. We've gone out for an RFP for a process, a technology that could, let's say, make energy or something useful out of trash. None of the technologies that are deployed in the United States are yet ready for prime time, but we'll keep trying.
Is it because of cost or just simply innovation?
The technology exists, the cost is too high to compete with tipping fee rates as they are in the Northeast.
So we're at 6.5 right now.
Yeah.
So what's the plan after the 6.5? If the
So our
technology-
preferred plan, and the one that we have had discussions for several years with Cape County, is that we would have a long-term disposal arrangement with them, where we would ship waste to them. And in fact, we were going to do that this year on a short-term basis. It wasn't necessary to do that. They're interested. Their freeholder chairman gave the nod. So we'll work on that. Cumberland County is also interested in that. So just to give you an example, Cape May County's landfill has 80 years of capacity for their county. Well, they anticipate some new technology would be cost effective at some point. And they're not going to landfill forever. So they basically have a resource that's wasted. So why not share it? We have a relationship with Cape May County MUA already. Their sludge comes to our wastewater plant and is treated there. It's not a comprehensive long-term agreement, but that's what we would like to do, is have a reciprocal long-term arrangement. All of their sludge comes to us, as it is going today, on short-time, year-to-year agreement. And our trash could go to them, or some portion of our trash could go to them. So that's
How do their fees compare with our fees?
their fees are higher. We're the lowest in the state. They're,
How much higher?
I want to say about 10,
78
78.
What?
dollars per ton.
That would be what they would charge
No,
HCO.
that would be negotiated. That's their gate rate today. So in long-term arrangements, you can make different arrangements, but you have to negotiate
We
it.
got to negotiate.
Of course, it has to be hauled there too. It has to be transferred. But I do want to remind everybody, I don't think there's, maybe John was around, our facility wasn't going to have a landfill. It's designed as a transfer station to handle all of the trash being hauled out of state even to Groves landfill. The transfer station is permitted for 1,500 tons a day. It's designed for that. The access, everything is designed for that, the approvals, the traffic, and all that was approved for that. So we did that for 3 years because the state initially wouldn't permit us to have a landfill.
There's a long history in New Jersey of waste flow. It's a long history.
Rick, in the event that 6 years comes up and we start to transfer this to Cape May or Cumberland County, wherever, how would that affect staffing?
It would impact landfill staffing, not transfer station. We probably have more people in the transfer.
We need more to
station.
transfer
Yeah.
and less in,
Right.
do we have a, I'm sorry, go ahead, Amy.
Sorry, I didn't know you finish your thought, Andrew.
Do we have, I know you said we're going to continue to have job fairs and things of that nature to try to, and I know we spoke about this and I don't know what the game plan is, but how do we address staffing issues going forward? Like, is there a plan to do something different? We raised wages twice. That didn't seem to have an effect, as you said. So what are we thinking is going to happen that's going to make it better?
That's the question that our staff asks me every day. What's the magic bullet, Rick? What are we going to do? It was going to be the $300 not being paid in unemployment at the end of August. Didn't make a difference. The second raise to starting salaries for drivers in October didn't make a difference. Second raise for laborers. We have another one coming in January 1st for laborers, $1 an hour. It doesn't make a difference. It is inexplicable why
What
people.
about administrative staff, people working in the office? Is everybody working in the office? Do you have people
We're
working from home?
short-staffed everywhere.
Do you have people working from home?
No,
No?
no. We haven't had people working from home since June 15th of year before last. Because
Doesn't that have to be provided under the CARES Act?
if there's a health reason, yes. Everybody's mandatory to have wear a mask and be separated. It doesn't work in our organization. You can't have people doing payroll from home. You can't have people doing HR and doing job fairs from home. You can't have engineers working from home. We did it for a little while, but I would tell you, our hands were tied. It just doesn't work. It works in some job functions. It does not work in ours. And quite frankly, it's not fair to the people who are on the road, which are, and in the sewer plant, who are not, they're there every day, in fact, for
Yeah.
long hours.
And this is absolutely a national issue, but I want to say, Commissioner Gatto, did you have something you wanted to ask or say?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just kind of piggybacking on Andrew's question, I guess a different take on it, Rick. Is there going to be a point where because we can only maintain, a set number of staff, that when we have a contract coming up with a municipality, we would have to say to them, we can't renew because we can't sustain the service levels. Has that been considered? And if so,
Yes, it will be.
it will be considered. Okay. And how much runway do we have to give municipality? Do we know how many municipalities have contracts coming due within the next, 12, 24, 36 months?
We know when each contract is up. We have one up at the end of the year. We'll see what the discussion is. The problem for municipalities is, where are they gonna go? Are they gonna, they're all having in their own municipal public works departments, staff shortage. I was in Buena Vista yesterday. They have 13 positions, 6 people in their public works department. They cannot recruit. So it's similar, it's not the same everywhere. So that's one choice. The other is the private sector, and the private sector, many private sector haulers will not bid on municipal contracts because of the circumstances that exist. So you can't hire them, or you're certainly not going to hire them at the same price you were paying a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, so it's a dilemma. It's unprecedented. It's hard to figure.
Yeah.
So we have one coming up in the next week that ends at the end of the year.
And are we telling them that we can't renew?
No, we're telling them what it would cost for us to provide the service.
Okay. And then
which is increased dramatically over their existing contract.
And then just on the cost side, then you mentioned that when the life of the landfill comes to a conclusion, we would potentially look at going to I think you said Cape May or Cumberland County, and things would be significantly cheaper. What are we looking at in terms of transportation costs on top of the tipping fee? Is that going to be a factor?
Absolutely. Yes. What I would have quoted you this time last year would be different than I would quote you this year because of the CDL driver issue. We would contract it out to a private company. I know it would be significantly higher than it was last year. Now, do we know what it's going to be in 6 years? What's going to happen to this whole situation? So here's what we would likely do. If we can't have a shared service agreement with 1 or 2 counties, we would go out to bid. We would go out, that's our job. We're a public agency. It's just like what we did in 1989. Went out to bid and there were 3 bidders. No New Jersey entity bid on taking the Atlantic County's waste, only Groves Landfill and another company in Western Pennsylvania. Those are the only bids that were received in 1989. Now there are other choices. There's the solid waste incinerator in Gloucester. There's a solid waste incinerator in Camden. There's a landfill in Gloucester. There's a landfill in Salem. There's a landfill in Cape May. There's a landfill in Ocean County. Or Burlington County. They could all bid on it. Or it could be
all of these would be transported out of the area. Therefore, rates are going to go up regardless, is what we're saying.
Rates in 1990 were $120 a ton. That's when trash went out of the county, out of state. It was 100. That's 30 years ago. It was $120 a ton then. It's more expensive to haul it away. That's why we ultimately were able to focus the DEP and the FAA on granting us a permit to have a landfill and getting that approval. So for the last 30 years or 25 years, we have seen the benefit of having an in-county landfill disposal option. But it's going to come to an end because the size of our facility is just, the land available is limited.
So Rick,
And just
Wait. We're not
sorry,
gonna
Madam Chairwoman. We have a program with the Workforce Development Board to educate and train CDL drivers.
We may have one within a week. We have been working on one for 3 months.
Okay.
And so it's actually very important that it happen quickly because the national CDL standards become much more difficult February 1st.
Mm.
So it's even going to be harder. It becomes more academic, and that's going to make it difficult or more difficult for people to get CDL. So we're trying to have this special school for 10 people who are employees, laborers who don't have CDL. And the Workforce Development Department of Labor in New Jersey has committed as recently as this week, I believe, that they'll pay for half of that school cost. We'll pay the other.
Commissioner Days?
Now I have additional questions, but so with that training, I mean, is there, I mean, I know it's state, even federal money. Is there any way that we can guarantee that they work for ACUA if we're paying to train them? Or
We would
just
have
with our
some.
time
We
or
would have some
employees?
time limit. You know, you got
You
to
have to work for so long to pay off.
Right, but we wouldn't use the term pay off.
Well,
Some
it says
obligations.
indentured services, right? I mean, you said that you can't compete with the private sector, so I don't want them to, come in through the program and then go work. And,
I agree.
Suddenly they're gone. It just defeats the purpose if that's what we're feeding.
Absolutely.
So my other question then, Rick, do you service municipalities outside of Atlantic County currently?
We do. We have a whole separate operation for collections in Cumberland County. We have a facility there at the Cumberland County Improvement Authority complex. Employees are recruited there. They work there. They collect trash and recycling in Vineland, Millville, and Bridgeton.
Okay, so that's almost a separate entity. Because my reasoning was that if you're talking about not renewing contracts with Atlantic County municipalities, or you even said that our Atlantic County municipalities who are, I don't say outraged, but upset that their yard waste hasn't been collected, their recycling, their waste hasn't been collected. I'd hate to say, not, to be overly parochial, but I'd hate to see Atlantic County municipalities miss out and suffer and then continue to service towns and other counties.
Right. So they're separate. They're not connected. There obviously is some back and forth once in a while for support staff. Management staff and so forth. We also collect recycling for the city of Woodbine.
And again, if you need to work with them in the future, you don't want to cut off
We
your
have,
by your face.
I should say, most of our contracts are 5-year or 6-year contracts.
And are you still open to, again, obviously, everyone's well aware of the situation in Galloway Township. Are you still putting out proposals for additional contracting municipalities?
No.
No. Okay.
So the Galloway, I don't, it's a long story, but
No,
we've been
right.
asked,
Right.
requested by the city or the township of Galloway, I would say 15 times in the last 12 years. At their request, and
Right.
even this
Sure.
last one, we were very honest with them. We didn't think
Okay.
that this is a charade. You're
You
not
know,
really going to do it.
Right.
Why are you making us do this? But we're one government agency to another.
And the only reason I ask is because you're talking about the unprecedented shortage of CDL licenses to pick up what you have currently. That was one of the issues that was there. So I kind of wanted to clear it that you were asked to do it, so you provided that, but
We were
there was a
asked-
lot that needed to happen down the road.
We
Should
were asked
that
to
have-
give a proposal. We gave them a proposal.
Commissioner Gatto, you had the floor. Did you have any other questions or comments?
I'm sorry, no, that I was done. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yep, Commissioner
Thank
Bell.
Rick, just a couple questions. Well, one just kind of dovetails off of what Commissioner Days just asked. The Cumberland County trash pickup, their trash station in Cumberland County doesn't come to our landfill, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And recycling.
Right.
It doesn't come here.
Okay. Do we have any automated trucks? Are you looking to purchase
I know
automated
what you're
trucks?
talking about.
Like
Our
every
trucks
township
are
has?
automated. They have tippers on the back. So if you look at a trash truck that comes or a recycling truck, you have a cart, there's a tipper on the back.
Right.
The driver or the laborer brings it to there and it tips it into that. So that's automated. That's not the automated you're talking about, the arm.
With the arm that comes out
So-
and dumps where you only need to have one person operating the truck.
So that doesn't work for us
Okay?
because a truck in a day could be in Estelle Manor where that would work just fine. There's no cars parked, there's no signage, there's no tight streets, there aren't, that works. Our trucks have to be interchangeable to go anywhere in Atlantic County to be utilized. So we can't do that. The other reason is those are mechanical. They break. It's another thing that breaks. We don't have an excess of trucks where we can have trucks down for mechanical service. And then the implementation of that, some people live in towns, Save Harbor Township and Hamilton both utilize these. Sometimes another trash truck has to ride along behind to pick up what's not in a container. Bulky waste, extra waste, it's another issue. So you almost have to have another small fleet of regular trash trucks, which Save Harbor Township does have, that they go around and pick up bulky waste and other items that don't fit in the container.
Okay.
We constantly look at it and evaluate it.
Right.
And
It works for some towns.
It
won't work
depends
won't
on the
work for others.
municipality.
Right. Now you talked a little bit about, you had plans this year of possibly starting to ship trash down to Cape May, but that didn't happen. So I assume that could possibly happen next year or 6 years from now.
So the situation this time last year was we were doing an expansion to our landfill that would give us capacity to utilize now. We had to be sure that capacity was going to be available, and our engineering, based on we hadn't bid it yet or hadn't actually started construction, we couldn't guarantee that it would be available. So we had to have a contingency plan to take waste to Cape May, as we've done twice before, by the way, over the last 30 years. And so the construction went fine, the weather wasn't bad, the construction moved way ahead of schedule, and we didn't have that issue. So we didn't have to, and we don't anticipate that next year either. So we didn't need a short-term contingency plan to go to Cape May. We actually went through the process of getting their approval, our approval. The contract was approved, and then we rescinded it when it wasn't necessary anymore.
Okay. So when that does happen, how many trucks are we looking at that's going to impact the roads to take when we can't put trash into the landfill?
That took trash to Cape May before. So Brian,
I
know off the top.
don't know what that is.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
20 to 25 a day.
20 to 25 tractor trailer loads a day. They would go by designated routes that are approved by Cape May and Atlantic County solid waste plans, which are, by the way, those plans exist already.
Okay. So all the private haulers and municipal haulers, everyone would still bring everything to the transfer station if the landfill is down, full, and then it would then take approximately 25 trucks to get rid of what is there.
We have another contingency because of our closeness to the airport. We can be shut down by the FAA on a moment's notice. So we have a contingency to haul our waste. Our transfer station's large enough. Our road and our approvals for transportation routes to Pennsylvania are all in place. Luckily, it hasn't happened.
Okay, so it's a good idea that if and when we reach capacity, that we then put it inside some kind of transportation and move it out of the county to someplace else that will take it
at a price that has been competitively bid.
Right, price whatever.
Right.
So that's a good practice to do that, correct?
It's done in the business.
Okay.
Other counties don't have landfills, so many North Jersey counties don't have landfills, and they ship it out of state or to incinerators in other locations.
Okay. So is it a good practice? I mean, that's a good practice for government, but is it a good practice for a private business to do the same thing?
it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good practice or a bad practice. It's whether it's approved.
Right.
And it makes sense.
Yeah, if it's approved. It's approved. I mean, it's a good idea to take, if we can take the trash out of our county and put it someplace else, that's a good thing,
If you
correct?
control where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And there are the controls on the other end. So many of the municipalities and entities that took their trash to what became Superfund sites back in the 70s ended up paying for it. Oh, I thought that was fine. No, it's not fine. They didn't have a DEP regulating that landfill to the same level that protected it. So if there's a spill or some environmental contamination, the generator of the waste is responsible. So that's part of the review process. Where's it going? Is it a legitimate place that has all the protections that the residents and the users in Atlantic County want or require?
Yeah, I was just checking to see if that's an acceptable practice, standard practice.
Transfer of trash is an acceptable process. It's been done by us, and it can be done any number of ways.
Okay.
Any other commissioners? Any questions or concerns?
Are we going to go over the other one or no? The solid waste?
Solid waste, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So solid waste is a budget. I thought I did go over that.
Did we? I'm sorry.
I started.
Oh, the 80 and the 8, yeah, I'm sorry. My mistake.
He did that first.
Okay, the only thing that then I wanted to say is, if I can.
Absolutely.
Four corners where I live in my intersection were forgotten one day. And I wanted to call, I went on the website and there's a chat function. So I chatted with somebody at the ACUA and the truck was back within 20 minutes. They just forgot. And, it was very good service. Just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you for saying that. As many complaints and legitimate complaints that we've had in the last few months, we get many compliments also. People know what those guys and ladies, because we do have female folks on our crews, work really hard. People know that. August was hot and steamy and humid, and now it's an overwhelming yard waste issue. So.
Anything else from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, if I may. We talked about the technology, and that's an insinuator, is that what I'm hearing? That we...
No, it's going to be a gasifier, it's going to be some sort of compost, or what's called refuse-derived fuel. It's going to be one of those things. So these technologies have been implemented in Europe and in Asia. And you go, well, why can't it come here? The cost of landfilling in Europe and in Asia is like $200 a ton. Well, at that point, if it costs $150 a ton to go to a waste energy plant, you're saving money. But we're going from $60 a ton to $150. It's paid for by taxpayers and businesses. It's a big jump. It's going to have to be less expensive in some way. Permitting is also difficult in New Jersey, but it's difficult throughout the country. There hasn't been a new solid waste incinerator approved in the United States in the last 30 years.
Do I have any other comments, questions from the commissioners? This has been very informational, so I want to open it up to the public to see if the public has any comments or questions for Mr. Dovey. No? Okay, I don't see any, but we thank you for being here and taking the time and answering our questions. Again, thank you to your staff and your employees.
All right, have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Okay, that brings us into our resolutions. We'll start with resolution 649.
Amending resolution number 375 adopted July 2021, and acceptance from the State of New Jersey Office of the Attorney General for the state fiscal year 21 body worn camera grant program funds, amount not to exceed $226,218.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments or questions for the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 650, please.
Grant application to the New Jersey Department of Human Services for the 2022 statewide respite care program, amount not to exceed $178,850.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Seat been vacant so long, you forgot
I
it over.
almost did.
I'm easy to
I'm
forget.
sorry.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions number 651 to 654 of the chapter 159.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. And as we go into professional service agreements, I have resolution 655.
Amended professional services agreements with various consultants under the 2017 Dam and Transportation Infrastructure Pool to extend a term date only, no additional cost.
Motion. Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments or questions for the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to resolution 656.
Establish a pool and enter into professional services contracts with various title companies for the provision of title company services, amount not to exceed $135,000.
Motion. Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 657, please.
Establish a pool and enter into professional services contracts with various environmental consultants for the provision of environmental consultant services. Amount not to exceed $135,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments or questions for the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 658.
Professional services agreements with various veterinarians and veterinary offices for the provision of veterinarian services at the Atlantic County Animal Shelter. Amount not to exceed $52,000.
Motion. Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we go into competitive contracts with resolution 659.
Amending resolution number 645 adopted December 15, 2020. A renewal competitive contract sub-grant agreements for Older Americans Act Area Plan Services at 50% funding. Amount not to exceed $12,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to resolution 660.
Amending resolution number 645 adopted December 15, 2020, for renewal competitive contract sub-grant agreements for Older Americans Act Area Plan Services at 50% 50% funding, amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Salas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 661.
Amending Resolution Number 409, adopted August 3, 2021, a competitive contract with Caring Incorporated for the provision of adult social daycare services, amount not to exceed $100,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Salas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 662.
Competitive contract with Barron Jewish Older Adult Services for the provision of senior center site manager services and furnishing of kosher meals, amount not to exceed $135,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us into our bid contracts with Resolution 663.
Bid contract with Oliver Packaging and Equipment Company to provide a meal packaging system to Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $39,981.24.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. 664, please.
Bid contract with Bob Barker Company Incorporated and Angie Len Collections Limited Liability Corporation to furnish and deliver inmate uniforms and supplies for the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $159,842.36.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days,
Yes, the price is right.
Yes,
I had to do it. I was waiting for someone to
Somebody
beat me
had
to
to.
it. I know you wanted to, Frank. Anyway, sorry, yes.
I bit a hole in my
I was
tongue.
waiting. I thought you could.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 665.
Bid contract with Landsman Uniforms Incorporated to furnish and deliver uniforms for members of the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $87,500.
Move. Second.
Motion made second. Any comments, questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 666.
Bid contract with Allen Corman and Son Incorporated to provide helicopter rental services for the Atlantic County Mosquito Unit. Amount not to exceed $140,000.
Motion. Second.
Motion made second. Any comments, questions from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yep.
I threw you out, I don't have my backup. Jerry, is this for, per year or a couple years?
It's for the year.
For the year? $140,000 a year spray.
It's very expensive.
Helicopters are
It's
expensive.
gotten expensive every year.
That's right. And it is, I mean, and Greg is on, you know.
No, I don't wanna go through the whole long
Yeah.
dissertation. I just
It
wanted to
is,
make
and
that point.
And they do, they do, it depends on the type of mosquitoes used, you know. I think this is used for adult like tiger. Then they have big round spraying at certain times. You'll see that it really depends on, otherwise, I would have had Doug here today going through a 5-minute dissertation on the different kinds of mosquitoes and pests that they actually have to go out and try to control. Yes, this is, I forget, it's like $1,200 per hour. Yeah.
So, Madam Chair, if I can make one more question, Jerry.
Yeah.
So, for $140,000, how many times a year they gonna go up?
I forget how many hours they actually fly. I mean, Doug Abdel, who is our mosquito director.
What was that?
Goes out. Doug Abdel, who goes out, he actually flies with the helicopter and he directs them. I would probably tell you they go up maybe 10 times a year. It's expensive.
I don't expect you to have it now.
Yeah.
I'd just like to know for my own
Sure,
edification.
I'll give you the number of
Can you let me
hours.
know how many times they went up last year?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Right. I don't need it right now, I'm just curious. Not gonna change nothing, but.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yeah, just one quick question.
you sounded like you were done.
I didn't.
You were
reserve the
down
balance
on the
of my time yet.
downswing there.
Yeah,
You
but I
were
didn't,
rolling downhill on that.
I didn't reserve the balance of my time.
Took a breath.
Y'all think I, cause I've been
Said
quiet all day, y'all think I'm gonna be
I
quiet.
didn't hear any reserving going on there.
Okay. Only reason I'm asking that question, Madam Chair, since this gentleman from the west end part of the county,
Yeah.
he is gonna be the first commissioner to go up with him. That's the point I was making. So I went with, Bettino gets to go up first.
But he wants me to go with no seatbelt on. That's the problem.
Nah.
Can't go there.
Do you reserve?
Or a
I do.
helmet.
Okay.
Without objection.
Yeah, just a quick question. Did we use this vendor last year, Jerry? Is this a new vendor?
I believe this is the
Same
same.
guy.
Same guy it's the same one every year? Just curious how that was, not that many guys flying around doing mosquito spraying with helicopters, I imagine, but, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Days.
Jerry, is this, I didn't see this in the backup. Is there a limit to the number of times we can access the helicopter? Or is this as much as it's deemed necessary?
Whatever, I'm looking, it's $2,000 per hour, that's what it is.
So this is, okay.
So that's what you can get an idea of what that
It's
is.
not to
Doesn't take
exceed,
you long,
right.
it's 70
Okay.
hours.
And this is used also to make observations as well. It's not, am I
No, they-
correct or no?
Now, this is actually do.
The actual spraying, oh, okay, all right. I thought they also use it to observe, okay. I just hope that number's not an omen of how bad the mosquitoes are gonna be.
Yeah, 666.
Right.
That helicopter.
That I don't know. We'll see after they.
I just check it,
Based on the number of times they go up, we'll see.
Do we have any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
So before we leave contracts, I just have a question on resolutions 659 and 660. They're both amending resolution 645 of 12/15 of 20, reducing the funding 50%. And they're both two different numbers. So is that just two different parts of that same resolution, or should this be two different resolutions?
Are you talking about 659 and 660?
659 and 660, yeah. It's both amending 645 from 12/15
Yes.
of 20.
And the young lady, I mean, she explained this to the budget subcommittee. I asked her to come if you wanna listen, it's a quick.
As long as we amended
right.
the
There
right
is-
resolution, it's two different sections, that resolution?
That's correct.
Because I don't have that resolution from,
Different, yeah.
okay,
It's, yeah.
then we're good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's a question you should ask before you voted.
He was thinking about it. He said
Before
it.
the end of the meeting.
He said it.
Okay, we will now go into Commissioner Corsi's favorite, our change orders, resolution 667.
Change order number 2, contract with Swarco Industries Limited Liability Corporation for thermoplastic material used for road line striping to extend the term date. Net increase $11,484.
Move.
Second.
Don't fall out your chair.
Motion has been made and
Safety issue.
seconded. Do I have any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. This goes into leases for Resolution 668.
Amending Resolution Number 181, adopted April 7, 2020, a lease agreement with Egg Harbor Leasing Limited Liability Corporation to occupy 4,159 square feet of office space located at 6821 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, for a child advocacy center to amend the term date only, no additional cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments, questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now we have miscellaneous resolutions with Resolution 669.
Renewal alternate method contract with Unitronics Data Systems Incorporated to provide maintenance services for the Abacus and administrative software, amount not to exceed $19,146 for a 3-month period.
Move.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 67.
Alternate method contract with Clarice Healthcare for a proprietary software subscription for maintaining and supporting wireless tablets to vulnerable older adults. Amount not to exceed $58,800.
Move.
Second?
Motion made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Mr. Ballas?
Okay, to Jerry, how's this program, how these lab is gonna get out to the vulnerable population?
They're out there already. And the young lady is on, she can go through the program with you. We have 100 tablets. What they did during COVID was distribute these tablets to individuals that were isolated. And this allows them now to have contact, social contact on a regular basis. So it's already, they've already been distributed, they're already using them. And Cindy McNellis is on, she'll tell you that they've expanded the program. It's not only the contact, she's not on, well, she's not on, I thought she was there, but anyway. So what happens now is that they actually have a learning module. So you can actually go on and actually do some, you get some learning modules that you have, as well as the social contact with other people. So it's a nice program. They really found it to be very productive, and so they've continued them through this year. You know.
So with this program, they'll have the tab, they already have the tablet.
Yeah, yes.
Are we making sure that they have a internet service provider to make sure that they can actually get
Yes.
online to do it?
That's
part of the program
absolutely. And they're checked they're checked all the time. In other words, those individuals are checked by somebody, and also on aging, to make sure that they're utilizing the tablet. And I believe, I see Commissioner Fitzpatrick, she sits on the board, so she could probably tell you that they're contacted constantly.
Yeah.
Great, sounds like a great program.
Yeah, it does.
Lots of oversight. And
Yeah.
to keep older people engaged. It's really
Okay,
good.
it's
Real
important,
important these days.
real
too.
important.
Yeah, just, I mean, is there any talk about expanding this? $58,000, it's not, obviously, that it's the software that's
Right.
included, it's not just the 100 tablets. But is there any possibility of expanding this? We're talking countywide, 100 people, 2021, the end of the year, COVID is still here and
Well, they started this
thriving,
with
so.
COVID money. They got the COVID money. So
Right.
that's what they were using. When to expand this now, they would have to start looking back into other types of dollars that they get through the Older Americans Act. I don't think that money is available just yet.
Do we have any other comments, questions, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 671.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Borough of Buna for summer concerts, amount not to exceed $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner
Question.
Fitzpatrick.
How, is this money available to other municipalities? Money like this?
The other types of just so you understand, this one, the other types of programming would go through our cultural and heritage office. I think I could ask this probably every other year. The reason for Buena getting this was because they had been excluded years ago, and so they've come through the Office on Aging ever since. So that doesn't fall on culture and heritage because their funding is very limited.
And this comes through aging?
This comes through the Office on Aging, that's correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Jerry, these the concerts they put on in the senior center for the
They actually
seniors?
take them out, these ones have usually been outdoors in Buena, correct? And
Right,
they
but
usually
primarily the target audience is the seniors,
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
That's what I thought, okay.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 672.
License agreement with the Town of Historic Smithville Limited Liability Corporation and J.W. Living Limited Liability Corporation concerning the installation and maintenance of storm water improvements in the right-of-way of Moss Mill Road in Galloway Township.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 673, please.
Resolution to comply with the Department of Human Services requirement for a standardized resolution to be filed with the 2022 statewide respite care program by the Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 674.
Business associate agreement between the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services, and the Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services to be included with the 2022 statewide respite care program.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 675, please.
Resolution appointing John Lamy as an alternate commissioner to the Atlantic County Insurance Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 676.
Resolution requesting a transfer in the 2021 budget in accordance with the provision of NJS 48:4-58.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Just briefly, Madam Chair, just want to say that the transfer here is extremely minute. So it's a very tight budgeting, and that's what that speaks to. So it's a very tiny budget transfer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 677.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for shared services and school district consolidation study and local efficiency achievement program implementation grant for 3 trailer mounted attenuators and 3 arrow boards, amount not to exceed $86,936.67.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, so, for those of you that don't know, a while back, we had a county vehicle that got hit on English Creek Road when they were doing some coal patching and, injured our employee. And, I brought it up to Public Works. Do we have a, crash truck, an attenuator truck, which is very important to have behind our workers, just in case somebody is on their phone, not paying attention, whatever the case may be. And, luckily this gentleman was able to get out of the way and wasn't killed. So it's important. And for the county to actually find a way to go out and get 3 that will be able to be used by municipalities instead of them having that expense, where they can just come hook up to the trailer, drop this attenuator down along with the arrow board that directs traffic from far enough away into a safe lane, is very important. So I just wanted to say thank you, Jerry, for making this happen. And we were looking for one, and Tim, we were looking for one, and we got 3. So it's awesome. And this will save a life, without a doubt.
Especially with all the, work that's going on these days. We have, exceptional amount of work going on the road. So thank you for your comments. That was great. Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Rob, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 678 has been withdrawn. We're going to go to resolution 679.
Interlocal agreement with the Atlantic County Improvement Authority to bid and manage the construction of the repaving project at the Green Tree Golf Course cart path. Amount not to exceed $321,200.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments, questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
I know a lot of people who are gonna be really happy about this.
You have to charge more, all them improvements out there.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt numbers 680 and 681 appointments.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? I just want to tell again, as we combine these, we really thank the people on these boards. I was at the Mental Health Advisory Board. They are short of people coming on the board. They have there's an ordinance or a regulatory where you can only serve 2 terms, and there are 2 3-year terms, and you have to take a 2-year break. So they had some people that wanted to stay on, but could not because of this, and they are short of positions. So out there for the public, any of these positions are open, and they are on the county webpage.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. McKelvey may be online. I know he was advised of the appointment. We've been waiting for this for months now, for the Veterans Advisory Board. Not sure if he's on there. If he is.
Is Mr. McKelvey
Frank
online?
McKelvey?
On here? No.
Yeah. Okay.
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 But again, we appreciate all their time and
absolutely.
commitment to these committees. Okay. Any comments, commissioners, anything from the public? We'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda. Any reports of special committees on the board?
Madam Chair,
Yes. Commissioner Gatto.
I just wanted to mention, sorry, I'm wearing sunglasses, because the screen light is still bothering me. That's why I had my camera off for resolutions. I just wanted to, highlight the work of the Lake Lenape Dam Committee, and also reinforce, as we have changes coming in that office, the need to continue our monthly meetings with that committee. and to keep the pressure on all organizations involved with the work on the Lake Lenape Dam. At our meeting, I think it was a week or two ago, we had heard from our vendor WSP that they were having some issues hearing back from the Pinelands Commission with regard to our Pinelands application. So Deputy Mayor Patali from Hamilton Township reached out to Congressman Van Drew's office to get some help and attention from the Pinelands Commission, or hopefully get a response. Van Drew's office reached out to their contacts at the state at 2:30 p.m. The following day. Rhonda Ward from the Pinelands Commission reached out to WSP, our contractor, told them what was left to be to deem the application complete, that they needed it by midnight that night to be able to go on the December Pinelands agenda. And the people from WSP, in working back and forth with our county engineering personnel, submitted the 3 open items that were needed by 6:30 p.m. And we were then confirmed the next day to be on the December Pinelands Commission agenda. This is just a lot of partnership from all the stakeholders on that Lenape Dam Committee. And again, just want to highlight that partnership. It's important. It's important, again, to have those monthly meetings so that those of us who are the elected stakeholders or the committee members can stay in touch with the engineering department on what's going on, and we can leverage our contacts to keep things moving as they need to be. It's a shame that we have to, hold the state agencies' feet to the fire like this, and that there's not that sense of urgency on their side. Hopefully that'll improve, but I just wanted to highlight the great teamwork and collaboration that we have on that dam committee.
Any other reports from any committees? Everybody's on. I did attend the the Disability Advisory Board luncheon today, and I'm asking Christine Chickadell to come to one of our future meetings, probably after the first of the year. She's done some great work with that board. She has many things moving forward that I really think would be important for all of us to be aware of. Plus the project she did that took like 3 years to bring us up to the state standards. You're familiar with that, right, Jerry? It was close to 3 years, right, by the time she completed, 2.5, 3 years. Yeah, and it was very in-depth. So we're going to bring her in so all the commissioners are aware of what's going on there. And again, the mental health does need some people. There is some criteria, but again, it is on the Atlantic County site. So, and do we have any other? No, okay. Any unfinished business? Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thanks. I'm bringing up the health officer situation again. You were nice enough to send us both of the letters, the one from Pat Diamond and then the response from the state, which outlined the requirements in order to take the test to be certified as a public health officer. They're like you said, they're looking for detail in the applicant's work experience, 3 of the 5 recognized public health activities: administration and support, environmental health, communicable diseases, maternal and child health, and chronic illness. And I see that 3 of these items are mentioned in Pat's letter.
Right.
So I'm not optimistic that the state is going to change their schedule for Atlantic County. And so we're talking about $10,000 a month from January through May, another $50,000.
That's if they agree.
If they agree
if
at
they
all.
agree to sign on.
So do we have a plan B?
Well, yeah, I would probably call another county as a health officer, and if it's one county in particular that Pat had already spoken to. So I would call them if, Cape May hasn't given me the approval yet, although the gentleman who is the public health officer from Cape May, his name is Kevin Thomas.
Right.
I've spoken to the county administrator, Mr. Lair.
Right.
Mr. Lair said he would get back to me. Kevin has already said that he's had this conversation and they will give us something. But I've been waiting for that just so that, you know, I will have to come back to the board, obviously, with the additional agreement.
So my question is, are we going to continue to pay the salary of a public health officer, director, and the additional $10,000?
Yes,
Even
we
if
would.
she is uncredentialed?
Yeah, we would, absolutely. In order to get her credentialed, or we can go back out again and pay $180,000 or $190,000 or $200,000. That's what they're asking for. When we did the interviews originally, the lowest number was, I think, $130,000. We had only 3 people apply.
I bet if we're at 130 now, aren't we?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, we'd be close. We'd be very close. I mean, remember, we're not, let's be clear, we're not paying Kara that kind of money.
But her salary plus what's gonna end up being $90,000.
We would be very close, yes. But we would, let me say this to you. We believe she was the best candidate. And Pat said through that. You know, we relied heavily on Pat's, evaluation. That was very, and believes she's very, very capable. The problem in the state of New Jersey is you require this license. She can walk into any other state and be the public health officer. In New Jersey, you've got to be licensed.
I understand, but that's where we are. We're in New
Right.
Jersey.
Right.
And we knew that Pat was gonna retire.
Right.
But we don't have a credential of somebody who was
Right.
groomed to be her successor. And I just have to say that saying we promote from within is very nice and very warm and fuzzy. But in her letter, Pat says that Kara was hired in 1990. So 30 years ago. So the hiring practices of this new director were the hiring practices of 30 years ago, which are not current. Not the current way that people are hired now. And the current opportunities that are given to people, along with outside knowledge and what comes with working from different places. So I have to say that I think the ball was dropped here.
That's your opinion, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm telling you that we had somebody from North Jersey at 180,000. They were not moving into Atlantic County, they were told they had to move into Atlantic County. The other person was from Camden County, 130,000, and they weren't moving into Atlantic County. And that's what we, and Kara. And when you speak to Patty and anybody else at Satfield or our human resource director, she interviewed as well as any of them.
That's great, but she's not credentialed.
I'm telling you, she'll get the credential, and we've spoken to Mr. Berg, and Mr. Berg is said that he's going to try to find out what specificity, more than what Pat put in mind.
Right. Yeah, this is a nice letter, but it's not, from what I read on the policy of the health department, they want like an outline of she did this from here to there, and this from here to there, and that's what they want.
That's their letter to us. That's their
No,
letter.
this is from their website, which
Right.
details the requirements of the
Exactly,
license.
right. And that's what they cite.
Right, so, I mean,
They may not have even had, and I'm just gonna say, they may not have even had any testing in 2020. So I think that's important to put out there as well. Kara does seem to be doing the job, and everyone says that, she was the right person for the position. But she does need the credentials, and I believe Senator Palestina did say he was gonna look into that for us. Is that
Mr.
correct?
Berg has been very, well, I don't want to speak for Mr. Berg, he's been very positive. He gave me a call, he got all the material from Ms. Harris,
Mhm.
and he called me immediately. I mean, he's here, I don't want to speak for him, so.
So Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
Jerry, and I see Mayor here. So this, in the meantime, this should fall under shared services agreement, correct? And the reason I'm asking that question is in the following.
Yeah.
Atlantic City was without a health officer for a minute.
Yeah.
When Mr. Cash retired, we then gauged the service of Atlantic County, if I'm not mistaken.
And you also had, if you remember, you had the public health officer from Worcester County for a while.
Say that again?
You had the public health officer coming in from Worcester County.
Right. So I guess my point was, my question would be, why don't we attempt to, if there seemed to be some deficiency here,
Right.
why don't we look at Atlantic City health officer, if in fact you need a health officer to step in to help out in the meantime? We have one. We don't have a director of health and human services, but we have a director of
Public health?
I
yes.
think exactly, that's, you know, Commissioner, that was after,
Say that again?
that was after we'd already signed this agreement. I mean, that, if you're saying now that I guess Mr. Giffey,
That is correct.
he's the new public health officer.
That is
because
correct.
you had Mr. Washington who was leaving, that's why we,
Well, Washington was the director of health and human services. Hifley is our health officer.
okay.
And I guess my point was, if in fact the county finds themselves in a jam, I don't see why you can't call Atlantic City and come under some type of shared services
Okay.
until such time this young lady is able to take the test and pass. I think y'all said we got somebody in Cape May County or somewhere else is stepping in. Hell, that one right here.
And that agreement expires at the end of this month, right?
Say it again.
That agreement expires at the end of
Exactly.
this month. with
Exactly.
Cape
It's
May
just a
County.
thought.
Okay, well, no, I mean,
Do you know anybody that we can call, Commissioner, that might have a little, you know?
who do you,
His name is Jerry DeRosso.
who would you like me to call? I mean,
No, but that's-
Jerry, give me a call. Give me a call tomorrow.
Okay,
Give me a call tomorrow, and I'll put you in contact with the right people.
okay.
It's just a thought.
But just remind me though, you gotta remind me, Mr. Giffey was not your public health officer because you had Patty. So something must have happened in the interim that we don't know about. He must have got his license then.
Who's this?
Mr. Giffey.
He did what?
Mr. Giffey must have gotten his, let's go back. So you had somebody from Gloucester County for a number of years. And then I think Gloucester County was not gonna renew the contract. You guys asked us, so Patty became the public health officer, which meant Mr. Giffey was not licensed at the time.
That's not accurate.
Okay,
What had happened was, the long and short story of it was, under the small administration, the real short of it is, we interviewed for a health officer. And what had happened was, this gentleman in Washington was offered the job. Kifley had the certificate. He was not the pick of the committee. However, the state, because of COVID, did not provide tests. 2 tests they canceled. Because Washington did not have the certification, we then had to make an agreement to give it to Kifley. In the meantime, which opened up the position of Health and Human Service Director, which we had to move Washington up to because we gave him a letter of promise of employment. That's where we got caught at.
I got it.
So the issue really wasn't Washington himself, it's just that the state canceled the 2 tests that was out there, so he didn't, at the time we hired him, he didn't have the certification. Kifley did.
Okay.
So we had to make arrangements to give it to Kifley.
But we didn't know that he was licensed. I mean, that's, you had hired Patty. We didn't know that he was licensed and he had, so, okay, that's great. So you
That's
have it.
wonderful.
That's fantastic. I'll call you.
That is correct.
Okay.
So give me a call tomorrow and I'll put you in touch. It's a thought. It may not work, it may not, I'm just, until such time, I mean, I don't want to see, first of all, I tell people this story everywhere I go. When you can count my money, you count my bills. And because, and I hear you're concerned about the $10,000, $20,000, I get that. But she was already given an agreement. No fault of her own because the state didn't issue the test yet. But if we can go into Atlantic County and find somebody to help that services out, in the meantime,
At half the cost.
say it again?
At half the cost.
If that. Right, I mean, again, it goes back to the mayor, we're talking about shared services, hey. Because I'll tell you this publicly, city gonna be calling on the county for some stuff, some shared services too,
Well, that's,
right? Because y'all big heavy pushes on shared services, is an opportunity.
okay, great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Very good. Thank
It's gonna
you.
cost y'all for all that information, but yeah.
No, thank you very
Now,
much.
and I understood Karen's point, but I figured I'd throw that out. Kifley is certified, he has the.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other unfinished business?
Madam Chair, just one issue, I just wanna, so you saw one resolution was pulled, okay, and it says pending on. So I just want everybody to understand, so we have a contract, as you know, with Cumberland County, they take Cumberland County inmates. The contract basically reads 200 inmates a day, and then anything over up to 250, anything over 200 up to 250, the warden has to agree to take that. And that's based on, obviously, classification that's going on in the jail, the number of people we have in the jail, and obviously the space utilization. So during these conversations, we were probably at 450, maybe to 500 at the max, probably averaging 400, 450, 460 inmates a day when we had these conversations with Cumberland County. Subsequent to those conversations, these numbers keep going up and up and up and up. And so the warden believes, you know, the capacity of the jail, we're very close to the capacity of the jail now. Based on the fact that with bail reform, there is no one just sitting in there that is with a minor crime. Everybody's in there for a serious crime. And so based on classification, he's very concerned with trying to overload this jail. And we certainly agree with that. And we've been there, we've had these conversations internally just to ensure that, you know, that everybody is safe out there. So the decision was, going forward, was we would look at potentially building. And in order to do that, obviously you need somebody to do the design. We met with the individual, USA Architects, as you'll see on the agenda that says pending, that we met with them, we had our law department there to say whether or not we were allowed to utilize their existing design and their existing program, modified obviously for us, because their jail was going to be fairly large, and could it fit onto our property. So we went and we met with the Cumberland County Improvement Authority, who was which is they're the capital arm for Cumberland County government. They do all the building projects. So we met with them. They had their plans. We had an engineer from ACIA, our Improvement Authority, who got our plans, reviewed the plans, and then we got there and we matched them up. He was able to, based on what we were looking at, he was able to say that these four, they call them pods, roughly 64 beds per pod, would fit onto our property perfectly. With a few minor modifications, obviously, for admissions and the manner in which the inmates are brought in and out of that property. So we then met with the architect, with the law department, and we believe this can be done fairly reasonably in terms of normally a design. If you go into a design for a building of that size, probably anywhere between 9 and 12 months would be the design. They believe they can do that. They can cut that probably in half because basically the design is there. It just has to be modified for our property. So anyway, that's where we were going. We were supposed to get a proposal last week. We would have gotten that proposal, reviewed the proposal, and on yesterday we would have explained that to the budget subcommittee. We would have gone through all the details. We didn't have that, and if you remember, we had that conversation yesterday. We didn't get that proposal. I didn't get that proposal anyway until probably mid part of the day. So we asked the board to Ms. Harris to keep it on the agenda for the 21st. Everybody's got the proposal now that's been involved. So, our budget staff, the treasurer's office, ACIA, and the jail. Everybody's reviewing it to see whether or not, it meets our what we believe to be our criteria that we would like to see occur out there. And we'll review it, and then we'll present it to, I guess, the budget subcommittee again, or whatever committee. We'll obviously speak to your chairperson to see what committee we should give it, or if you'd like, we would do multiple committees to see if you all hear it. So that's basically what was on the agenda for today. And that's pending until we review the proposal.
Thank you, Derek.
Question, Madam Chair. Have we already committed to taking these inmates?
Yeah, there's an agreement. It was.
You had an agreement.
Yeah, we have.
And the number.
We've already taken women.
And what is the number? Total number again?
The total number was 200, excluding the women because they didn't have that many women. We've already taken some of the women already.
And there's no way you can put them in the existing facility.
We've had that internal conversation. The warden just does not feel comfortable because let's be clear again. Anybody that's in jail right now, there's all serious crimes here. There's.
Okay.
And that is the real concern.
Jerry, just one more question. Yeah. On the agreement we did with to take the inmates, wasn't that on a as we needed basis? It's not like we told them they're going to send us 240 people or whatever all the time. It was on as the jail needed and we could accept them, I
It was-
believe.
We would take up to 200,
Up to.
anything over the 200.
But if our capacity permitted it, if we don't permit, we're making
Right.
plans to do something here, it sounds like, in addition to, that may be an issue in perpetuity. And I want to make sure we're all clear on the direction you're doing out there. Once you put those pods in, they're there, and you're going to look to fill them.
That's correct.
Well,
Yes, that's right.
That's a big thing.
That's right, exactly.
I mean, I imagine there's been discussions with Hamilton Township. Are they aware of our thoughts out there yet, or
Well,
no?
that's all part of the
Process.
proposal.
Before we bring it here, I want to
Exactly
make
right.
sure all the people that have a say in it have a chance to review it.
That's
So
right.
it's
As
not
part
like.
of- As
there's-
part of their proposal, I mean, if you go through the proposal, one of the most important issues, is citing the facility. You gotta go to Hamilton Township, all of that. Now, you do understand that county government doesn't answer the municipal.
I know that.
We always, our policies and procedures have always said, we're gonna always give the courtesy to the town. So they're gonna get that from the architect and the engineers involved in the process if we move forward. I mean, again, we got the
That's an
proposal,
if, yeah.
we've got to agree to the proposal.
One other question. If we do move forward, then I would assume that we're going to get a long-term agreement of some kind with a funding mechanism for these prisoners coming
Yes,
from here
absolutely.
and for, 20 years, 20-year renewable or something like that. I'm sure we're thinking about that. So we're, at least that facility is going to be there. We have a way of paying for it and it doesn't fall back on us here in Atlantic County at some point if it's empty.
Absolutely, yes, correct.
Okay, there's some thoughts.
The revenue comes along with each inmate, that's correct.
Understood.
And the problems.
Commissioner
And,
Davis?
and the issues, yes, correct.
Yeah, Jerry, I might be going back a little bit, but at one time there was talk of shared service, of sharing a justice facility
Yeah.
with other counties.
That's
Is that, and I think Cape May went ahead on their own, is that, or am I?
That's correct. Cape May was not part, there was Burlington,
Okay,
Camden,
okay.
Gloucester.
Okay,
What came to the first meeting, but they had already done away with their jail, but they came to the meeting to
Right.
determine whether they would want to be part of it. Cumberland and Atlantic.
and that's,
And that,
that,
it was a very used facility and the numbers were very exorbitant. I mean, it was very, very high.
right, okay.
We didn't believe that we should have been part of that. Plus they were going to site this in a location that would have created some travel issues for us.
Because I know a lot of counties were looking to not expand, and
Right.
obviously
Yeah.
you want people
Yeah.
back into the community, so, they thought that would have been a great idea at the time, okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, we tried to, by the way, we tried to do something with KMK. We actually went down and had a meeting with
And I know that
KMK.
was a separate issue, all right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes, Jerry, just real quick, in the contract or agreement that you have with Cumberland, is there an out clause in this? I mean, if we don't have the capacity, we don't have the capacity.
That's correct. Yeah, there is
So-
now.
so what
I
is the
think it's
out
five
clause?
and- I think the first contract, and Jimmy may remember, I think it's 5 years and 5 years. It was 5 years, it would renew for 5 years. I mean, this is, they're getting out of the business. Again, I don't know if I'm not gonna get into this, into the depth, we could do this in in-depth conversation at some point. Atlantic County is probably more like a major city. We have those kind of issues in Atlantic County. Cumberland County is a smaller type of a microcosm of a larger city like us, or a larger county like us. So the point is they were getting out of business. They had called and said, would we consider this, knowing that we had conversations with Cape May. So we had some internal conversations. We just didn't do this on a whim. We had long conversations as to whether or not we should do this and whether we could do it. And again, when we had the first conversations, the jail was capable of handling those inmates. But again, the numbers are going up. I don't know what else to say.
Right, but as you say,
Yeah.
with bail reform,
Yeah.
the only people that are going into
Yeah.
the justice facility are the people that really need to be in the justice facility.
Exactly.
There's no minimum security people, there's no trustees, or,
No.
they're the dangerous people. And do we really want, they're dangerous people here in this county that are gonna now befriend the prisoners or the inmates from Atlantic County and then choose to say, well, you know what? Let me get out of Cumberland County, I'm gonna stay in Atlantic County. okay?
I'm not sure that works that way. But the women, let me say this to you, women from Burlington, that's not happened. We've not had that. They go back. As a matter of fact, we provide the service to get back. Look, let's be clear. The people that we arrest are from, I want to be clear on this. If you were to go to, let's talk about a middle county, somewhere in the central part of this state, those people probably are not from a lot of other places. When you look at Allegheny County, the people in Allegheny County, it's not only Allegheny County, we're servicing a large number of people that come down here to visit the casinos. I mean, let's face it, and they wind up here. And people come here because those kinds of economic development issues are here. They think they can come here. They think they can live here. We're already have that kind of population coming. This is not going to be much different. I'm only telling you. Right
Again,
now,
do we need to recruit? Do we need to recruit more people that are undesirable to be in Atlantic County? You know, when they get released, they're released out the front door, and there they go. You know what I mean? There's no, hey, here's the bus that's going to Cumberland County. They're on their way to wherever they're gonna. You know, if they make their way back to Cumberland County, that's great. If they don't, they end up here, or they end up in Ocean County. They end up who knows where. But to continue to bring, you know, a prison population in because they can't handle their own justice facility and the lawsuits and the liability that causes, you know how much time the law department spends in litigation out of the county jail, and to bring more liability in for us to make a couple dollars, is it worth it?
Well, we think it's a good shared service. We think it was the way to go here. I mean, you're asking the question. I would probably tell you that a good portion of those people have probably been here. Let's talk about the agreement we have with Gloucester County, just so you know. So we have an agreement with Gloucester County. Do you know who we get? People get caught here. So when our agreement with Gloucester County is to house Gloucester County prisoners that have been arrested here. We probably average 10 to 15 a day. So they get caught here. They're from Gloucester County. Instead, Gloucester County doesn't have a jail anymore. So they allow us to house their what would be technically their inmates, but they've been caught here and they've been tried here, and you know they're here. That's what happens. So that's our contract with them. If we did that with all the counties, in particular the northern Jersey counties, we would have probably 10 to 15 from a good number of the counties up north. So it's the same thing.
Well, hell, that ain't no damn different than
That's right.
all the homeless folk that y'all sending from Linwood, Gay Arbor Township, Galloway, and everybody to Atlantic City. They from here. Y'all give them nods. We trying to send them back to y'all. But I mean, he makes a good point. But where did it go? I mean, and it's a legit question.
No, I mean,
the question is, said we've been doing it so damn long.
If their crime happened in another county, that's where they're supposed to go, to that county jail. And you know, it's not a benefit to Atlantic County us housing them here in Atlantic County. I think it's a huge liability.
Right.
You know, it's a huge liability, and you know, sometimes it's just the liability outweighs the few dollars that you're going to actually, you know, make off it. You know, we're not here as a business to try and make money. We're here for the safety and security of our residents. And
well, let's talk about it. So
is this something we can talk in budget committee? Y'all killing me with this one.
You got to go.
Y'all killing me with this one. Can we talk this in another committee meeting?
Yeah, I'm only.
Y'all been voting on them for the last 10 years. I knew you just got it.
Yeah.
That's that cop coming out.
I've been in there.
As a visitor.
As a visitor.
We can do that. It's probably a good idea to get it into whether the jail committee or the budget committee.
Yeah, something it really needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Okay.
That's your committee.
I mean,
That's your committee.
I don't need to be reminded. I know that. That's why I made that comment. Were you trying to remind me of something?
I'm just making you understand.
Well, I was actually gonna, and I was joking about it, but I was gonna really say to Jerry,
Provide the leadership.
we actually had this conversation in the jail committee before. And Frank, that's before y'all got here, so it's something we might need to go back and revisit again anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but originally, just want to remind me, I'll chair that committee. It's okay.
Do we have any other unfinished business?
Madam Chair, I got a question for Jerry. Any progress on the space we need to rent for the Board of Elections?
Yes, we're just waiting for the proposal back from the, the existing facility. We, Tony Vigano spoke with the, I spoke with the, he's the minority owner, and he said he would give us something in writing. So that's what we're waiting for, correct?
Okay, have you looked and negotiated anything with the other facility?
We did, and we talked to that, Frank. But when you talk to the members of the, at least the people that I'm speaking to on the board, they would like to stay where they are. So if in fact that doesn't work and we don't get the proposal,
Okay,
we gave them a timeline.
all right.
We would go back to Mr. Sorrentino and we would, I guess, enact that agreement.
All right.
Yes.
Was the current landlord willing to fix the problems there? Your discussions?
Well, he told us that he was fixing, I mean, one of the key issues, if you remember, was the roof.
Right.
He told us that he actually had a contractor when they were going to do the roof, so. Now, Tony explained to him that we need to see what the work that was going to be done. We didn't want patchwork, we wanted, a brand new roof. So, again, the gentleman said he would give it to us, so.
Okay.
Do we have any other comments from the commissioners? Any new business?
I have a question. Thank you. Jerry?
Yeah.
It's been reported to me that at one of the congregate food distribution places for the seniors,
Yeah.
that the volunteers or a volunteer is unvaccinated. And I talked to Cindy about it and she said that they wear masks all the time and that person is separate when they eat their lunch. But my question is, under new guidelines with employers of greater than 100 people requiring to be either vaccinated or tested, and they don't require testing on a weekly basis, does the county have to comply with those guidelines? And if yes, will that be applied also to volunteers at county facilities?
Well, the county has a policy. I mean, you know the policy. If you're an employee, and unvaccinated, you have to be tested once a week, and you have to show us that the test was done.
Okay.
That you tested.
So does that apply to volunteers as well?
And I haven't heard this, that we have volunteers that are, I haven't heard that yet. Yes, and we discussed that internally, if we have people working in our facilities. Now, the issue here, though, is it's the entity that runs this is a contractor with us. So we need to talk to them. If you're telling me this, that they're not vaccinated, I need to go back now to Chris Wilson and Cindy.
Okay.
To find out whether or not the contractor that we have has a policy. Because they would be impacted by that. It's their volunteers.
It's their volunteers,
They
not
work.
ours?
Well, the sites are run by a contractor to us.
Right.
So let me just say we have I think it's 3 contractors. We have one for Jeffrey Stowers. We have one for the kosher site in Atlantic City. And then we have one for the balance of the sites.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so.
Brigantine, Ventnor.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Okay.
So I need to find out which contractor is. So see, I went to Cindy, she'd be able to tell me which volunteer it was and everything, right?
No, I didn't want a name, I didn't want to know.
Oh, okay.
But this
Just, can you tell me
person,
the site?
what?
You told me the site, then I know which contractor.
Okay, I will tell you.
Okay, great, good. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have anything under new business? Does anybody have any communications or petitions that they'd like to share? Okay, seeing none, we'll open now the public comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the podium and state your name and town that you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll then be raised as an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please again state your name and town that you reside. Do we have anything from the public? Okay, and I've had that. Any comments for the good of the order?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Through you to Jerry, and certainly to, maybe you can answer it for all of us. Just anticipated perhaps maybe a storm tomorrow, snowstorm. I noticed that some of the roads was being brimed today. So, I don't know where we at, if it's still, almost not a threat, but some kind of.
I've been having conversations with Mr. Brookins, he's our public works director, so Greg is telling me that the most recent update was that we were not going to get much snow at all. And it's supposed to start as rain, so that's why we didn't brine our roads. If you notice, the state didn't brine their roads.
Oh, the state did?
State,
On my way here, I saw them.
when you say, did you go over the expressway?
I
Is that what you saw?
I came, which way did I did come expressway?
The expressway is brine, but that's South Jersey Transportation Authority. State, like Route 9 is not, is
Okay.
is
I
not.
did come expressway.
Right, they're in the black horse and white horse bike or not, because they typically we all follow the same kind of rule of thumb. You're supposed to start with rain, you don't put the brine down, it washes the brine. So we're not supposed to get, I think Greg told me, about 40% chance. Rain first and then 40% chance that you might get a light dusting. That was
Except for Hammond? They always get beat up.
It's gonna be bad out there with these ads.
And Greg's on, I mean, Greg is here if he wanted to, just for.
I'm not questioning your due diligence. I'm not questioning your due diligence. You said that's what he told you. And I dare him to give you misinformation.
Well, then, if he doesn't,
No, I
conversation.
just, because it depends on where you're looking at, who you're talking to. Oh, you might get hit, maybe answer.
Weather forecast is wrong half the time anyway.
It's like,
Anything
it's
else?
like poll predictions.
Do we have anything else for the good of the order? Yeah, I have just two items. This is National Influenza Vaccination Week, December 6th to 12th, which is a gentle reminder to all of us about the importance of getting a flu shot, especially as we continue to combat COVID-19. Flu shots, along with COVID-19 vaccination and booster shots, are available to residents 18 years or older at the Atlantic County Division of Public Health weekly clinics. Details are available on the county website. I'd also like to ask each of us to be aware that the holiday season can be particularly difficult for those who struggle with mental health. In 2018, the board passed a resolution in support of the establishment of stigma-free communities throughout the county. The campaign has the goal of raising awareness of mental illness and to create a culture where our friends and neighbors feel supported by their community and feel free to ask for help. It's a friendly reminder to us of the pledge we took to raise awareness and a reminder that New Jersey residents can call 1-866-202-HELP, which is 4357 for free, confidential support, or text New Jersey Hope to 51684. This helpline offers multilingual services and is available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. through 8 p.m. And I really want to again thank, through the pandemic, we have seen that this community comes together. We help each other, we watch out for our neighbors, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that and need to continue it, especially through the holiday season.
Madam Chair, before we dismiss, I just wanted to let my colleagues know that on the 14th, Mayor Small, along with Still Pier, will be doing a hot meal giveaway at the Soldiers Home for first responders, senior citizens, and John Q, the public. You come in, it's actually a hot meal, ribs, they named a whole bunch of stuff they're doing, but it's open to the public. They're looking to do 1,000 to 1,500 people.
Do they still need volunteers?
I'll find out.
Yeah, let us know. Okay.
Madam Chair, just thought as you were speaking about the pandemic, just one question for Jerry. Jerry, are we anywhere with the negotiations with with Meadowview and the essential employees as far as the
Premium pay?
the premium pay for the? Yeah, I know there were some meetings that took place, but
Yeah, we met with probably 18 union reps, and we gave them an opportunity to submit what they thought was legitimate. We went from like $7,000 a person to like $20,500 a person. So we're not there.
you think we'll have that resolved before the end of the year?
I I believe we will. What we're looking at is a couple of issues. One of them impacts, we need, in order to do this one, we would need the cap calculations all done. And that's what we're waiting for, is to go through the cap calculation. And in order to do that, you need certain numbers that we haven't been able to get yet. Once we get those numbers, we'll be able to,
Sure, if you could just keep us posted, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for the good of the order?
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are now adjourned.
That's it.
All night.